All right, welcome to Music by the Measures. I'm breaking down some more drum songs, and I thought it'd be important to do like the first song to learn, and actually the first two songs to learn. And I got two picked out for us: Seven Nation Army and Free Falling. These are two that I always start students on when I'm first teaching them. And if you just got a drum set for Christmas, this will be a good opportunity for you to break this stuff down with us as well. All right, so reading drum notation is just something that you're going to have to get used to. I hope this channel can help you do that. Here's some pointers. Okay, anything pointing down is I was about to play a tom. Anything pointing down is our feet. So we got two different things going on right here. We got our kick drum, which is that green highlighted one right there, and that would be just that. And this one has 4 in this measure, so it's going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Good. All right. The other one that we have pointed down is this foot hi-hat. This song has both those things going on. So note to self, things pointed down are with our feet. Unless we made a mistake in the tab. Then it could be us too. So that's just what's going on with our feet right away in this song. You kind of hear my double rebound every once in a while on the kick. Trying not to do that on purpose. Should be very. And honestly, in the beginning, I just want you to hit the drums. You know, after you get comfortable, I'll start being picky with like, okay, how does that sound? Can you make it sound exact every single time? Okay, enough being picky. So the other thing that we have going on is a low tom, which if you see is a whole step above where the kick is, or the lowest circle pointing up. So it'd be counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're just going to break that down. Full speed on this song is 125. Some of the reasons I like this song is there's almost 2 real ideas that get played throughout. There's a couple variations of idea 1 and 2. But it's kind of tribal. It's very straightforward. Yeah. Now, if putting that foot hi-hat in right away is difficult for you, skip it. Just play this. Okay? I'm going to teach it with both, but like I said. So full speed on the song is 125. We're going to go to 90 BPM, though. Just kind of like get the idea of it down. And we're going to hear that metronome. And at first, we're just going to kind of put our feet in there and get that groove going. So it's a little slow. That's good. 2, 3, 4. And again, if that's difficult, then you just go to kick. Now we're going to do just low tom. So let's do a couple of those without metronome so you can really hear what's going on. So just kick and foot hi-hat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Now just low tom. Put them all together. Now, when you're first playing this, don't feel bad if it sounds like, maybe not like that, but it's not going to sound perfect at first. Try to get this to be perfectly in sync. So it's not getting this, right? It should sound as one. Then add that foot hi-hat back in. One thing I also recommend for new people learning is stare at that sheet music and get it to talk to you. Like every time I pretend it's karaoke. Every time I see that I see that kick, I hit 2, 3, 4. And I'm just crossing them off in my mind. Same thing with that tom. All right, let's do it with metronome. One, 2, 3, 4. So in the beginning, that's all that's going on. Verse 1 starts the exact same way. We're going to keep it at 90, and then we'll speed everything up at once. Halfway through verse 1, he introduces, or she actually, because it's Meg White that played this, a snare. So again, going over everything. Foot hi-hat. Kick drum. Low tom. And then the only one that we're missing, snare. Okay? So those are all the elements we need for the intro and verse for the song, which is kind of nice. Again, kind of more simplistic to get us playing drums, playing in time, just getting comfortable. So on this beat, all we're doing is going 1, and then on beat 2, we're going, so we're just adding that snare. Now, if that's hard for you, just go like this. And then if you kind of want to challenge yourself, if that's easy, try to do it with kick. All right, and then we're going to add all 3 things, 3 and then 4. So 1, 2. And just by taking the snare out, it's the beat we already learned. Back with the snare. All right, let's try that at 90 and see how we are. Trying to get a couple nice ones with the metronome. So without the metronome, all right, we're going to do a couple more with 90. Just trying to get into groove of that and go from there. All right, so 90 BPM. What we're going to do, just so I remember, we'll take that 90 and paste it to the chorus so we can work on that section at a slower tempo as well. And so really, all we have to worry about now is putting those two sections of the verse together. Now it's 8 measures and 8 more measures. We're just going to do 4 and 4. Now, one of the difficult things that sometimes people have with this is going from 1, 2, 3, 4. Our next measure starts, obviously, on 1, but 1, and then we add the snare. So let me just play that out so it makes more sense. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you just want to make sure you put that snare on 2 and 4. We'll do some samples so you get the idea of it, and we'll just do 4 and 4 like I said. All right, that's a little trippy, but we'll make it work. So 4 of this beat to 4 of this beat. We'll see if I got the right number. Yes, I did. Okay. So we'll just get a loop going of that at 90 BPM. And we'll just wait for 1 minute. One, 2, 3, 4. Kind of gives you a good idea how to put those two things together. All right, so we're going to speed up this verse and, yeah, go from there. Now, if you're watching this video and you have questions, message them below. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking. If you're new to the drums, if this is easy for you, I got another song in the queue. Let's try 100, and we'll go from there. Actually, we're going to try 105. So first, let's just get this... No, I think yeah, we'll just do this at 100. 105, get this idea going. So same idea. Let's do the snare part at 105, just to get that in our heads. Okay, we're going to do the exact same thing. 4 measures, 4 measures. get this idea together. Great thing to do is just click those sticks, get that timing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Should give you a pretty good idea. I was thinking about things as I was playing, thinking about what we should do next. So that 105 is pretty good. Let's leave that for right now. I was going to do a couple of 4 and 4. 4 beats of this are 4 measures. 2, 3, 4. Back, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that gives you the idea of the verse, and we'll speed it up in future videos. Let's look at this chorus. Now, I say the song's easy, and it is. We might have to strip a couple things away here and there to get you the basic idea of it. So at the beginning of the chorus, he's doing this, Meg White played this, and I'm going to ignore the foot hi-hat. So it's going 1. So again, it's crash. So if you don't know any of these symbols, this symbol right here is the crash. Then we have our low tom, and we have our kick. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I've never taught this with the foot hi-hat because most students aren't going to pick that up right away. So I don't know if I can pick it up right away is actually my excuse. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one's not too bad. Throughout the chorus, she intermittently kind of puts it in. So we'll see if I do those. All right, let's do a couple of those. So 1. So I put the foot hi-hat on 1. Not supposed to. Not the hardest part. Not the hardest part to play. A lot of drums in the beginning are coming in and out of the transitions, though. So if you're playing, and just totally ignore my foot hi-hat because I kind of did throughout. Like, that's something that you will have to spend some time practicing, and that's what I want these first couple of songs to be. I want them to be like, all right, the first song you learn, and then how to break down these transitions, how to break down a fill, how to make sure you don't rush into the next section, stuff like that. So, and it actually be a reset for me as well, and just kind of help me get back to basics and reaffirm some good habits of mine and fix some bad habits of mine. So, all right, foot hi-hat's going to do what foot hi-hat's going to do right now, and we'll fix that later. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Actually, I'm going to be better off if we're just going to fix these transitions, leaving foot hi-hat completely out for now so I don't try to put it in. So I'm just going to ignore it and fix it at a later time. So again, we got 1, So a little bit slower than that. 2. So I don't think that's that bad. Let's do the next section. And we're only going to learn part of this because I'm going to ignore that triplet for today. But essentially what we're playing is that kick and crash, snare crash, kick crash, snare. So I got this. So let's do that at 90. We can just loop this one measure. Again, ignoring those foot hi-hats, which if you're newer to drums, which this video is tailored towards, ignore them for now. So you could play it on this crash as well. It's not the same crash, but I'm going to do it for just a minute. Just change it up. And if you only have one crash, pick that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we're going to do a couple without click. So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. All right. So in the next video of drums, we'll break down putting that all together. So for now, look at Free Falling. So Free Falling starts at 85 BPM, which you can't see. It starts quiet. I put it at 65, and the only thing that we're missing legend-wise is the hi-hat. We did the foot hi-hat before, which was at the bottom, pointing down. Hi-hat with our hand is going to be pointing up. And we're playing eighth notes right away, so we're going 1 and 2, and I'm going to slow that way down. 1 and 2 and. So let's hear how fast 65 is. And 4 and 1 and 2 and. Okay, so that shouldn't take you too long to get here. I'll do one without metronome just so you can hear everything that's going on. Purposely not trying to put those accents on that I started with. I was going on. Wasn't what I was doing, but kind of the idea. It's just got to keep everything the same volume, which takes some time. Now, let's get the beat down, and then we're going to learn a fill. So here's the beat with nothing special going on. The other one has a crash in, so we're going to ignore that. So in the beginning, we got 1 and 1 and. So for those just joining us, we're starting right here. We got a kick and a hi-hat. Kick is the one pointed down. Hi-hat is the X above. So just take some time and go in one end. And I always like to do that with students, like pause, one and. Now the next beat is going to be trickier. We have this snare, and then we have a kick on an off beat. So we're going to end. So hear the one end again. One end. One end. And saying and playing helps you a ton. One end. Now hear that two end. Two end. Then I would always have a student play just half of the measure. So half of the measure would be. So slow, it's kick and snare, kick. Sloppy on that kick. And then the rest of the measure is just 3 and snare and. So without metronome, putting that all together. All right, let's do it with metronome and just see how off tempo-wise. Because I just want to do it slow, get the idea of it down first. 1 and 2 and 3. Doesn't ever hurt to just play one thing. So what I'm going to do for a couple minutes is hi-hat only, and then kick, 2 and 3, 4, 1. Since this part's pretty simple, I might go 1, 2, and 3, 4. Yeah. And again, a good thing to practice. You can hear me pushing that metronome at 65 a little bit more than I want to. The negative of this beat, I think it's a great first song to do. Again, it's almost plays this beat almost the entire song. Some fills, a little change in the third or fourth verse, but for the most part, you learn this beat, you can play the whole song and have fun, and that's kind of what I'm all about in the beginning of learning something. The hard part is that kick on that offbeat and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Just got to hear it. All right, so we'll do a couple just hi-hat. We'll do a couple with kick snare. Just get the idea of that beat down. And 2 and. You can kind of hear me just trying to pull back that eighth note. I like to rush that. There, that's a Russian. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and, you know, that's why I sit there with that hi-hat. Coach myself on how that sounds. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... The other thing is not accenting those snares like crazy. But, you know, as you're coaching and teaching things, sometimes you think about the wrong thing. So, let's learn your first drum fill. Got a lot to talk about that as well. Okay, so again, I'm kind of doing this perspective of like if I taught this as a first drum lesson, which this is for maybe some people. The first thing I would do is those hi-hats in the beginning of this measure right here. We're going 1 and 2 and 3 end. 1 and 2 and 3 end. All right. Then the rhythm on the next part is 4 enda. Now, a lot of drummers have a propensity to rush their drum fills. We want to break that habit and like tackle that right now. Because if we can fix that as we're going, it's just going to be way better for you. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and so that's all we're going to do is instead of playing that fill, play the measure of the fill. We're not even going to worry about the next measure, and we're just going to play this on the hi-hat. We're basically going to coach ourselves that rhythm, not too dissimilar from what we were just doing with the kick drum, and just get this idea down. So slow. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and... So the biggest thing, and you heard me rush throughout, you know, by the end of this series, maybe I won't rush when I play drums. The biggest thing is when I come back from 4 and 1, I don't want to rush into 1. Because if I start rushing into 1 without doing, it means the minute I do add that in, right? Like we're working on just this. Then I'm going to carry that rushing or that I mean, it is just rushing it. I'm going to carry that over into playing the beat. So I want to work on that now where I can kind of like pinpoint it. I can hear it because I'm focusing on less things. All right, we'll do it a couple more times. I don't need to keep on rambling. And 2 and 3 and 4 and up. Okay, so in my mind, that's step 1 of learning this drum fill and learning how to play fills. Step 2, instead of going 4 enda, I'm going to play that all in the snare as 4 enda. And maybe tune my snare drum this week. So it'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and... So again, I'm teaching myself the timing and I'm moving it to another drum instead of staying on just the hi-hat. And again, I think a big thing with like learning something new is don't worry about getting this perfect. If you got this idea down, say you practice it for 5 minutes, you want to move on, move on. Try it on the next step. The next step would be this. I fucked that one up. and then try it on the third step, fourth step, and then go back to the first step. I think there's two schools of thoughts that a lot of people fall down when they're learning something new. One is they just stay on step one forever. I have a problem with that. I will stay on step one forever. A lot of times when you teach somebody else, or younger kids, oftentimes with patience, they will move to step one, step two, step three, step four. They'll do step one once, step two once, step three. You got to get an understanding of this and then try it out. Understanding, try it out. And it's by going through all of the motions that you kind of pinpoint what you need to focus on. All right, so be doing the fill. I'll be doing the fill on the snare drum only. 4 and a 1 and... Next step will be doing it on the drums that it's actually written on. So it starts on the snare, like I just did. Yeah, that's how it's played. And then it moves to the mid-tom. So it goes. Now, as soon as I feel myself falling apart with that, I'm going to go back to. Making sure I'm not rushing it. Then I'm going to do this one. Last one. All those steps will help me kind of secure my timing, so making sure I'm not rushing in and out of sections, and just get a good sense of the drum set. All right, so we're gonna do the snare one a couple times with timing. Yeah, do that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and up. Now let's try all the drums. Now here is the exercise that I would do to help you really understand how to do this better. And we're going to be using this on every single song we break down, so you might as well just learn the idea here. So I'm going to call this twos by twos or something like that. So we're going to do 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then move to the snare. And then move to the toms. Cool. We're calling this twos for now. And 2 seems to be like, right? Like I want to do 1 and maybe that's what we build to. If I was bad at this, I'd do 4s. 4s is hard to count though. All right. 2s. First get that groove. Two, 3, 4. That's it. and we'll keep upping that in speed. But let's try adding that next section. So we're going to kind of do that thing where we're skipping ahead to the next idea. So we're going to go from this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So actually, if I was teaching this in a lesson, I wouldn't let them do anything more than, and not because I'm mean, but it's like that's a big concept to get down. For one, we've never played this beat any other way. So if anything, I would say, hey, play beat measure number 2 that we're kind of looking at. This kick and snare kick. Just no crash, right? Much better without rushing the kick. Let's do a couple of those, and then we're going to try to throw that crash in and coaching ourselves to just how that has to sound. And you can just see all the different moving parts we have to put together to play one drum fill. But our first drum fill is going to take longer than any of the other ones will. And 3 and 4 and 1. And so just regular. Now with the crash. Which I guess I could highlight the measure we're working on. Excuse me. So we want to make sure, hey, I can play this. And then add that crash. So you could even hear that again on that 8th note I like to rush. All right, so making sure that I got that idea. Then putting these two together, and I'm only going to worry about beat 1. Let me highlight it, then I'll show you what I mean. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. That's all we're worried about. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Gotta make sure I get that groove. So now we take that idea and we play the rest of the beat. Anything we're bad at, we gotta simplify, break down, or take something away. rinse and repeat, and you just taught yourself how to play drums on pretty much every song. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and... Now, you can hear my problems with being a drummer is my timing. I'm rushing that eighth note. So we'll do a couple without metronome. And then I just need to work on syncing up really tight with a metronome. And again, this series is going to help me as much as it's going to help you. So 1 and 2 and 3 and... Okay, let's bring back metronome. Still 65 BPM, so a little slow. 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2. Okay, so hopefully you're following along and you can play your first drum fill. Now, let's speed up. So let's grab that 65. Full speed is 85 BPM. I think let's go 80 to make it a little bit easy, and then we'll go up to 85. So again, we're just worried about getting that groove, making sure we're not rushing. And if I start to rush, then I will do that thing where I do just hi-hats and click it out and whatnot. So first, I can tell you right away, I gotta get used to this tempo. So you just heard how much I'm rushing that. So I'm skipping steps in my own book. Not a literal book, but you know what I mean. So I'm just going to do a couple with hi-hat, really get that groove back. And this is, if I'm getting there, oops, there's a high probability that you're playing there, that same idea of trying to put it all together too quickly and rushing certain things. Also, I just get excited. So we're going to do... just hi-hat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what we'll do. 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and... I got to backtrack for not backtrack, but I have to go over my rules again for myself. So I'm going to play it all in the hi-hat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1, 2, 3. And we're just going to get that. 1 and 2 and I think I could put both measures together, which I wasn't doing earlier. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1, 2, 3. I got to figure out how I want to do this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2. That's what we're going to do. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and see if I rush. Trying to make this simple enough for myself, but not so complicated that I'm just picking random shit to work on. Really, the main thing I'm trying to do right now is not rush that fill and then get back into the beat. So now I've got a couple more people watching, so I'm going to kind of go over what I'm doing. We started with Seven Nation Army, good, basic, straightforward song for you to learn on the drums. Right now we're breaking down the feel for Free Falling. I was going to call it Learn to Fly. So let's do this at about 80. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. And let's just get this loop going and see if I could do it without rushing. Now, if you guys are new to drums, I'd love to hear what songs you guys want to learn, what songs you've tried to learn, what resources you're looking at, and if you're old hat at drums, I still want to know what you're working on. All this music's available at our website, musicbythemeasurespro.com. You can get it there. You can sign up as a subscription, and I'll be doing tailor-made drum lessons for you. Obviously, I'll be doing them live on YouTube, but you can say, hey, I got to learn this fill in this song, and I will sit here and I will do it for you. I just thought Free Falling and Seven Nation Army were great songs for everyone to start with and kind of just get back into drumming and learn some stuff. So we're going to try to put it all together. And if it doesn't work, take it apart. So I can totally still hear a couple places I'm rushing. I'm going to work on resolving that in the next week or so. Don't need to be so picky about it right now. So that's 80. Might as well go up to 85 and call that good. You know, I think I can get to the place where I'm not. But oftentimes that gets me to rush either that 2 or that 3 in the next measure. So just things I'm being picky about and things I need to work on in my own playing, and I might work on that. If you guys are working on it, I will work on it. And 2. I think that gives you a pretty good idea of that drum fill. Let's get this beat up to speed because we didn't really do that earlier, and see if I rush that offbeat kick drum. If I do, I do. So now that I feel like I'm like really sinking into that groove, let's try to apply that again to this measure, you know, with all the other things going on. So from the drum fill with the crash into this beat. Do a couple and then call it a good night. 1 and 2 and So just trying to hear that click, right? The minute I went to 4 and I rushed into 1, and that's what's happening when I play the whole thing. 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and so just something I have to watch out for. We're all gonna have that like that want to rush because we're doing more things. It's a little more complicated. We're adding more appendages to our playing. Just gotta hold back and hear that metronome. 2 and I missed the crash. So I had a couple that were pretty nice in the groove and then some that were not at all. So love to hear what you guys are working on. Love to hear your questions. Message below if you guys have any. Love to help you out. Continue to learn the drums. And you guys have a good